everyone and welcome to Headlines Today. I'm Anna M. Bettikad. When a film has a name like Lafangey Parindey, it obviously fills you with questions immediately. And then Yashraj goes ahead and casts Deepika Padukone and Nitin Mukesh in the film. There might have been a time when this would have been called an uncommon pairing, but this is a day and age when nothing is uncommon, everything is common. Let's ask Neil and Deepika what they think about that. Deepika, Neil, welcome to Headlines Today.
Thank you so much.
What are the other things that are very unusual about Lafangey Parindey apart from the name?
Apart from the name that you're constantly talking about, I think it's an apt title for the film, to be honest, because that's what the film is all about. It's about free birds, about people who are free-spirited, who have their aims and their goals, and they just go for it. So it's
I think the world that the film is set in is also one of the USPs of the
film.
Yeah, well, just look around us. This is the setting of the film, right? This is what we're going to see in the movie. But just describe it to me, Deepika.
The film is set in Bombay. It's meant to be a wadi called Tilak Wadi in Bombay. He and I are both Maharashtrian in the film. And it's a simple love story set in a different world. And the film is about dreams, it's about ambition, it's about how this girl Pinky, with the help of skating, because she is a good skater, wants to achieve a lot for herself and also wants to encourage everyone who lives with her to get out of this world that they are in and go and achieve a lot more for themselves.
Okay. What's your full name in the film, Neil?
Nandan Kamtekar.
So basically his personal name is Nandan Kamtekar, but his professional name is One Shot Nandu.
Yeah. One Shot Nandu. Okay. But she doesn't fall in love with him in one shot, right? It takes a
maybe
time.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I wish.
What is this building up curiosity? Okay, fine.
Obviously, that's what the film is about.
Do you start out as friends, or are you strangers to each other who fall in love?
I think we know each other. And
what's the point?
I'm trying to figure out a way how to tell her this one story that I have in mind for us to do for the next film.
They're part of the same gang, they're part of the same group, they all hang out together, they all live together. And Wadis normally are like that. It's everybody knows everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone celebrates Diwali together, you celebrate Dahi Handi together. Everybody knows everyone. So of course I'm
It's not that I'm not aware of her existence or she's not aware of mine. But love is something that, is like a knock on the door, and when that happens is you come and see the film. We'll show it to you.
I told you I'm not going to ask you the ending of the film either. But you said you're both Maharashtrians in the film. Did you work on the accent to get it right?
Yes,
a lot.
I had to work, in fact, a lot for the dialect. Yeah.
And what about you?
To me, it came a little easier than him because I speak Konkani at home, and it's very similar to the Marathi dialect. So it was a little simpler for me. Although the language in this film is very, very different. When you see the promos, the Hindi is the Mumbaiya Hindi. It's not the Shuddh Hindi that we all speak. So I think we trained.
Do you speak Shuddh Hindi?
I speak Hindi.
Yeah,
I mean, I speak the Hindi that's required for film.
Okay.
But the Hindi that we've spoken in this film is the Mumbaiya Hindi, which is different from all the other films.
And it's not even Tapori. It's not Apun ne bhai tere ko bola na. It's not Apun. It's more like Apan tere se baat karta hai to apni baat manna tu. As opposed to
it's not
Apun
slang.
Ne tere ko. Yeah, it's not that. It's not caricaturish.
Okay. You said, of course, you had to work harder. But having said that, you are originally a Punjabi family, right?
Yeah. My Hindi is okay. My Hindi is in fact very good Hindi I speak. But why? Because it's, for me, I had to make sure that my dialect does not sound caricaturish. I look and I sound one shot Nandu. So for me to adapt something that I haven't done for 28 years of my life, to then go and speak in a certain lingo, it is difficult. So suddenly if you ask me to play a character who's French, and if I have to speak in French, I'll have to work a lot on that and a certain accent, So that's because we have not practiced that style of talking. So yeah, and I wanted to make sure that One Shot Nandu comes across as One Shot Nandu.
Okay. Did you work out a lot for this film?
Yes, I did. I had to put on a lot of weight, muscle mass for the film. I had to gain, bulked up a lot. I've in fact started losing all my weight now, which I'm glad about.
You're going to be shirtless in the ring?
No. Didn't you get enough of me in jail?
Enough. And a lot more.
It's never enough. Why, you decided to cover up in this film because you did jail?
Well, I got a lot of flack for that actually.
Who gave you flag?
Nobody gave you flag.
Your girlfriend must have given you flag.
Well,
You got good reviews, in fact.
yes, I did. Thank you
So
so
then,
much.
yeah,
You wrote really well. I mean, you spoke rather well about the film also.
Okay. Deepika, for you, I mean, you are, of course, a naturally athletic person and you are an athlete, right? But did you know how to skate before this film?
No, and that's the ironic part that as a child and being an athlete, being a sports person, I knew how to skate, I knew how to cycle, I knew how to swim. In school, I take part in basketball, throw ball, you name it, and I was in it. 100
Badminton.
meters, 200 meters, relay, badminton, cricket, everything.
Boxing.
Except skating. Except
Yeah, yeah.
skating.
Boxing?
Eh, keep quiet.
I think
Yeah,
it's
which I
coming from
practiced on
personal
him, yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Can't you see?
But
Yes, I can see.
It's just healing. But skating is one thing I never
बहुत
learned, and then I
makeup नींद ने
realized
लगाया है आपकी वजह से. He had to cover up the black eye you gave him.
he needs no makeup. He's so fair.
I've
He's white.
come as a reflector today, and a bounce to you.
Sorry, we are not letting you complete your answer.
But
Sorry.
no, so I was saying that I've realized that skating is one thing I hadn't learned, and that's because there's no skating culture in our country at all. And hopefully, with this film, things will change.
Isn't she graceful, Neem?
She's awesome.
What is it? Has it got to do with the fact that she's a trained dancer?
I think.
Are you asking him?
I think it's.
His opinion
No,
on
no.
you.
I personally would say that she's so graceful because I think she's a perfect lady, and a lot of grace oozes out when you know how to carry yourself in every way. Not because she's a trained dancer, so she can carry herself in a certain walking style. It's just the grace that oozes out in her personality.
You think
in
women are
every way.
naturally graceful?
I personally think so.
More
yes.
than men?
Oh yes.
Any
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
No,
Any
but,
day.
They're a little more conscious.
yeah, but when it comes to things like contemporary dance, aren't men just as good as women?
Debatable. Depends who it is.
Debatable.
But you are trained in which dance form?
I trained in Bharatnatyam when I was in school, and then before Om Shanti Om Farah insisted that I do a little bit of Kathak as well. So I did 6 months of Kathak.
And now she's done breakdance.
And in this film, is she breakdancing also?
No, just kidding.
Figure skating.
All these secrets that he's letting out, that you were breakdancing.
Breakdancing and all.
boxing.
I'd love to though. I'd love to.
Yeah.
You know, the producer sitting there, they must be getting worried saying, yeah, Neil, kya bol raha hai?" The Deepika's a boxer in the film. But do you find that the fact that you're a trained dancer helped you in the skating?
Absolutely. I think it was the combination of my athletic background and the dance that helped, because the first part of the training was learning basic skating, how to just get onto skates and to be able to balance and then skate around. In fact, I used to train on this very floor. And obviously the second part of it was to learn how to dance on skates, and that's when my dance background helped.
You fall at any point while training?
Lots.
What do you
While
say?
training, I hurt myself. Oh, here again, somewhere here only. And he and I were racing
Yeah.
because our coach wanted to, it's like a strength exercise where you wear one skate, you don't wear another skate, and then you have to just push with one and move forward
That
with the other.
sounds tough.
And from the corner of my eye, I could see that I was leading, and then I got really excited and I pushed even harder, and I went flying and I hurt an entire side, and the scars still haven't gone.
Okay, so this is a physically strenuous film for both of you.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
Why emotionally?
Because you have
Because
to
it's
give
just-
so much to your character, I mean, for both of us, if I have to say that, the characters that you portray on screen today need to be, need to connect with an audience. And when, like for example, even Jail was, emotionally quite charged up. So is this film for her to get into a psyche of playing a blind woman. You need to, at some point, get into.
It required
yeah.
a lot of focus, a lot of concentration. I mean, which you require for other films as well. But when you're playing blind, there's so much attention to detail that you have to give. Because subconsciously, I might just do something and not realize that that's not the way it should be done.
How does one guard against that? Because you're pretending that you can't see,
But you can
and
actually see.
you can see. How do
Exactly.
you guard against it?
Exactly. It's.
Thank you. Actually,
You're the first
only
person to say that.
up till now who's asked that.
Okay.
Because
Nobody.
that's so true. Because
I think everyone
I'm
has taken
pretending-
it for granted.
But have you ever tried this? I don't know. It's something that I thought a lot of people try. Just close your eyes and walk around
Yes.
the house,
Yes.
to see what it feels.
Yes.
That was the
Have you tried
basic.
that?
But
Yeah.
that was the basic exercise first. The first exercise was to close my eyes and move around and get a feel of the space and the area that I'm in, get comfortable with that. While I'm doing that, I'm also observing what my hands are doing, what my body is doing, where I'm moving,
The
and then do
balance.
the same thing with my eyes open. And then also pretend like I mean, yeah, obviously pretend like I can't see.
Then you're training for the film, but then there's the possibility that you'll hurt yourself while training if you're actually genuinely training and not, looking like that.
I did hurt myself a couple of times, and a lot of times I'd bang into stuff, um, or,
Trip.
or trip, or knock something off. If I was going to get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, for example, I'd, instead of going for it, I'd knock it down, and it's very natural. It happens.
Neil, you tell me, have you ever thought of what it might be like to be a blind person?
I saw a film called At First Sight many years back. Val Kilmer was in the film. I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen. And after seeing that film, I, being an actor, tried so many things. Like there was a scene of him, where he gets his eyesight back, and he has a glass of water, and he has to pour the water in, from a jug, and he still puts his finger to see that whether the water has reached the brim or not. I mean, that has left an impact on me. And we are so used to seeing colors, we're so used to seeing things, and suddenly if that's not there, I mean, God forbid, it is scary.
Have you seen At First Sight?
No, but I've seen Scent of a Woman and some other films.
At First Sight is frightening because this man gets
Gets
back
back
his
his
sight,
sight, yeah.
but he can't deal with
Deal
it.
with it.
He can't space.
There's one
recognize
shot of
space.
him walking into glass.
Yes, he's so right. It's one of the most frightening films I've seen. But do you know anyone who is either completely blind or visually challenged in any way? No. Did you try to meet someone?
Well, we met a couple of people who we would spend a lot of time with, because it's not only about me observing, but also very important for them to see how they should react.
The rest of the cast.
The rest of the cast, the rest of the gang. For Pradeep Dada, how he should direct me, how he should direct the others, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, how much liberty can you take.
Exactly, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to still realize that it's still a performance. So a lot of things might look okay to the naked eye, but it may not look correct on screen.
But in our country, in terms of language and all of that, we have this tendency to say very offensive things without thinking twice, like anything. Andha hai kya? Yaar, oh, lula langada. The way people talk. Have you, first of all, I want to know whether you were sensitive about these things before this film. And if not, I want to know if you've become sensitive about it now.
I was always sensitive towards this, also because I was exposed to it right from the time I was a child, because the school that I was in, one section was obviously for all of us, and then there was a separate section for the special children. Yes, and that has taught, and I see this so much in all the Sophia girls. That's my school. They're very, very sensitive to these kind of people, because we've been exposed to that right from the beginning. So I was always sensitive towards people who are challenged in some way, but it's a lot more now.
Yeah.
In what way?
A lot more.
In what way? What are the things you will now never say?
No, it's
casually.
It's not like I never. It's not like I said things earlier, but I just today I feel like when I see a blind person today, I want to cry, because I just know exactly what they're feeling or what they're going through. I don't know. It's a strange sort of connection. It's a strange. I feel like I know them, or I feel like they should know who I am because of what I've done in the film. I don't. I can't explain.
So when you were going through the experience of Lafangey Parindey, was there any point at which you broke down, not because your character needed to in the film, but because you realized how tough it is to not be able to see?
Sure, but I think different people have handled it in different ways as well. I know a lot of people don't consider it a handicap. They just accept it the way it is and move on in life. And there's some people who obviously get affected by it. Again, then it depends. Are you born blind, or is it accidental blindness? So it depends on a lot of things, and also the person's personality, whether they're able to deal with it. Are you a fighter? Are you someone who stands up and says, no, I'm not going to let this affect me? Or are you someone who says, I'm whatever, I can't do anything anymore with my life now?
Yeah. But you said all of us are sensitive, and yet, you go to buildings in our country, you go to public places, there are no ramps. It's something as basic as that. A wheelchair bound person has to be carried upstairs, which is really a dent on their dignity. Why are we not yet sensitive about things in that manner?
We were never prepared mentally to see that deep. Then we were still establishing our own uh, the foundation in a certain way. Now I think with education, education becoming stronger in India, I think these things are definitely being looked after. The new constructions, if you see now, people are definitely taking care of all these things. Yeah, we can just create an awareness about it
Create awareness about it, help people around us,
and request
and
people
in
to
whatever way we can.
yeah.
And the rest, in terms of if you're talking about facilities, it's really up to the higher authorities to do something about it.
Very often in our Hindi film industry, when there is a character in a film who has a physical disability, the film is about that physical disability. Is Lafangey Parindey about a blind person, or is it just that she happens to be a person in the film who is blind?
She happens
To be a
blind.
person who's blind. It's about characters, and essentially, like we earlier said, it's a love story.
At
It's
the end of the
about
day, it's not about the blindness. It's not about.
the fight.
It's not even about the fight.
It's not an action flick.
Nope.
Nope.
It's not a sports film.
It's a love
It's
story.
a love story.
At heart, it's just a love
Yeah,
story.
it's a simple love story.
It's like Julia Roberts says to Hugh Grant, right? I'm just a
Notting
girl
Hill.
in love with a boy.
Absolutely.
Asking him to love me back. Is it tough for your character to... No, is it tough for your character, Neil, to get her to fall in love with him?
Well, I think I should ask.
बता
her
दे
then.
सब कुछ.
सब कुछ नहीं, थोड़ा बहुत तो बता दो यार, थोड़ा तो बता दो.
Ah,
अब इतनी तारीफ जब की है तो...
I can only say one shot. Nandu is a lovable guy.
हाँ.
But Nandu is a lovable
Nandu
guy.
is
Well, how
lovable.
difficult is
Did
it for
she
you?
fall in love with you automatically?
Watch the film, 20th of August.
August, yeah.
Good people. Producer will be very happy with
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, was it physically strenuous for you because of the boxing, and how much preparation went into the boxing?
I think action definitely takes a lot, takes a major toll, because there's so much physical energy that you have to put in. And plus it's blindfolded, the fight sequences are all blindfolded. So mentally you have to be prepared to either get a punch or land a punch somewhere it's not supposed to, So
Did that happen?
or many a times. Yeah. Many
He
many
got
a
hurt.
time. Many a
Sorry.
time.
Only there.
Nahi. So
Behave yourself.
Okay, you've had a very challenging film in Madhur Bhandarkar's Jail.
right.
Would you say that this was even more emotionally draining than Jail?
Equally and equally draining emotionally, but I would say a little more physically challenging than jail. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, you weren't expected to work out very hard for that particular scene in jail, were you?
No, not at all. Not at all, in fact. She
I
keeps
like the way
going
she
back to
says
the
that
same.
particular scene.
She keeps going back to that
Public
scene.
को मालूम है?
Which scene? Which scene is it?
Which one are you talking
थोड़ा
about?
detail दे दो ना दीपिका को.
My full frontal nudity scene.
All right, I tweeted this interview, and our viewers have sent in some questions for you. Neil, this is from a Deepika fan. Deepika Love 86 says, Neil, Imran, Ranbir, and Akshay. Who looks best with Deepika apart from yourself?
Apart from myself, I haven't seen her with Imran. I think she makes a great pair. Actually, you know what? Seriously, I've said this so many times that she's such a gorgeous person. She'll compliment whoever she is with. So all the guys she works with are lucky.
Does she make the guy look gorgeous too?
Yes, of course. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Does she make you look gorgeous?
Yes, she does.
Are you being diplomatic?
No, I'm being nice and sweet and truthful.
Chicky Tango says, Deepika, what's the point of joining Twitter if you don't interact with your fans? I know you're a quiet person, but a bit more interaction would help.
I know, I agree.
But she's quite active on Twitter, yeah?
I agree. I send one tweet
Yeah.
a day.
But I think basically what your fans would want is an occasional interaction with them.
That's true. Yes.
And now that you agree, are you doing something about
I
it?
agree. I keep saying I will, and I don't.
Why?
I should.
Is it because, as Chicky Tango says, you are a quiet person, or
I like reading what they have to say, and I reply to a few. I reply to a few people. I don't reply publicly. That's the thing. The thing is, I send direct messages.
Chitra says, Deepika, you're from a sports family. Do you feel that you should associate yourself with a female sports team in India like hockey to inspire more girls to enter the field of sports?
Sure, why not? I definitely would. But right now, I'm trying to get involved with the OGQ, which is my father's, which my father and Geet Sethi and Leander Pace and all have set up, which is it's the Olympic Gold Quest, and they support athletes who are preparing for the Olympics.
But what can you do to specially encourage women in sports in our country?
I don't know.
The same that you can probably do for a man. I think sport is universal.
It's something that I'm
already
extremely
very popular.
passionate about. I've been toying with the idea for a really, really long time, but I still haven't found the right platform. There's so much talent in our country, but unfortunately, it's not being used to the maximum. I'm working on it, but it's going to take me a while.
Okay, so you're open to the
Yeah.
idea, of course. All right.
And people always think that I want to support only badminton, and that's not true. Because and not only women and men, it doesn't matter, as long as it's an athlete who will go out there, make the country proud, and someone who's talented and can go out there and make the most of it.
All right. Yash says, Neil, could you please sing any song for us that was sung by your grandfather Mukesh?
Okay, this is one of my most favorite songs of his. जिंदगी ख्वाब है, ख्वाब में झूठ क्या, और भला सच है क्या, जिंदगी ख्वाब है.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much for joining me on this show. Thank you to Neil and Deepika and the team of Lafangey Parindey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it from me on this show. Do send me your feedback on twitter.com/AnnaVettikad.